Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Texas Man here, back with another video. I hope you guys are having a great day. I want to start off this video talking about the fact I have already reviewed Wicked Part 1. If you guys have missed out on it, please check it out. I do also have a Oz playlist, so you can check out my review of everything related to Oz there. I'm also going to be making a Gladiator playlist, so you guys can check out my review of the original Gladiator film from 2000, starring Russell Crowe. If you guys have missed out on that video, you guys can check it out there. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not entertained. Okay? Gladiator 2 came out here in 2024, and it's kind of interesting how they released this film alongside Wicked Part 1, and then today we have the release of Moana 2. I am planning on watching that in the theater, so look forward to my review of that coming out soon. I really enjoy the original Gladiator. Now, I don't hold it in such high regards as I know a lot of people do, and as a lot of historical buffs do. And I know for a fact this film, it's caused a lot of controversy with, the sharks in the arena. Like, how did they transport great white sharks inside of the Roman Colosseum and then get them out of there? I'm not going to dive into the historical accuracies and inaccuracies in this film. I'm going to be talking about what I like in a movie. And that's to keep me entertained. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was not entertained by this film. And when you make a sequel to an original film that was Gladiator, that came out literally 24 years ago, there's going to be a lot of comparisons between the original and the sequel. And I never felt that Gladiator needed a sequel or prequel or anything else. Like, the original Gladiator was a good 3-hour solid action adventure gladiator film. It had a beginning, it had a middle, and it had an end. And it had a point to it. And the conclusion, in my opinion, was satisfying. You got a proper, good, satisfying conclusion to the characters, to the plots, to the world. Now, yeah, it leaves the door open, but hello, it's part of history. And, it did take certain liberties with certain things. Whatever. It's a movie. It's not going to be 100% accurate. If you want accuracy, go read a history book. But Gladiator never felt like it needed a sequel. Gladiator 2 felt like a pointless cash grab of a sequel. Something that Ridley Scott, even though he said, this is the movie I've always wanted to make. Ridley Scott has made a bunch of good movies, like 20, 30 years ago. Now he's just in this process of making cash grabs, whether that's Robin Hood, Prometheus, what was that? Had Walking Phoenix in it. Napoleon. That was a bad movie. This film, Gladiator 2, it's a pointless sequel. And the reason it's pointless is because it adds nothing new to the characters. It adds nothing new to the lore. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. And you can go watch other people's reviews and see this in live action format. But I want to tell you straight up, this is a nearly beat by beat remake of the original, but somehow worse. This film lacks characters that you care about. It lacks characters given depth, arcs, and development. There is nothing memorable about this film that is good. Instead, I believe that literally a week later or so that this film has come out, this film is going to be remembered as a near carbon copy of a film that was released over 2 decades ago. Okay? Now, if Ridley Scott came up with something that wasn't a beat by beat by beat remake and rehash of the original, and it came out like 2 to 5 years after the original, if this film came out in like 2002 to 2005 era, I think the excitement level for this film would have been greater. I wasn't excited to watch this movie, nor was I for Wicked. Wicked was better than I thought it was. Gladiator 2 was exactly how I thought it was going to play out, just based on the trailers. And guess what? The trailers basically tell you the movie. And I hate that. I hate when you can watch a trailer and you've seen the film. Here we are again, Hollywood. Thank you. My excitement for this was extremely low, and I was disappointed. I was not entertained. I mean, the original released in 2000. Why did it take him 24 years to come up with something that's nearly the exact same movie? Guess what? It wasn't needed. It wasn't on his wish list to make. It was something that I'm sure was mandated by some corporation, by some Hollywood studio executive. Like, you have to make this. And there's even talks that they're going to make a third one. And I sure hope not. I mean, Ridley Scott's 86. Do we have to wait another 24 years for this? He's going to be in the grave for a long time. I don't want a third one. Because if the third Gladiator film is anything like this, and it's just a near carbon copy of the original from 2000, what separates Gladiator 2? What will, if Gladiator 3 ever happens, what's going to separate that from being not like the original? Like, seriously. I just don't get it. Another problem with this sequel is that this film makes the heroic and hopeful end of the original, where Maximus saves, when Maximus dies of poison, and he dies for the hope and the dream of Rome to be reborn, not as it stands as a dictatorship, but as a republic governed for and by the people. It makes the ending of the original feel pointless. It makes it feel null and void, and it kind of does a disservice to the original. That's what this film felt like. It felt like a disservice, especially towards the beginning. And I don't care how much you're like, oh, it's harking back to the original. Oh, look at all these little memory berries. I'm like, it doesn't add to the film, because the film, at its core, is pointless. It's rotten. It's bad. I mean, I nearly fell asleep watching this film. This film's somehow magically 30 minutes shorter than the original. This film's like 2.5 hours long, but it felt like 4. Okay? This felt longer than Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. And it has bad pacing, and it's boring. I mean, I literally walked out of the theater for a 3-minute refill of my soda and popcorn. I came back, I asked a friend what I missed, and he's like, oh, you missed the little Navy battle thingy with all the great white sharks. And I'm like, it took him 3 minutes to do that? I really didn't miss anything. And he's like, yeah, and they're doing all this, the whole coup and whatnot. The Emperor has found out because reasons. And I'm just like, okay, so I haven't missed anything that wasn't in the original. I mean, think about it, guys. If you've seen Gladiator 2, this film is a near carbon copy, like I said, of the original. Now, yeah, the film takes place 16 years after the original, but the plot is nearly the same. The film opens up with a battle scene. Our main character loses his wife because of some tragic event that happened at the beginning of the opening battle scene. So the main character gets captured. He gets sold as a slave. Then he's mentored by some character that used to be a gladiator or something. Trains the main character up to be a gladiator, so our main character can get revenge on the man that killed his family. And while all this is happening and we're having all these awesome action sequences, we get this political stuff, including a clue to overthrow the Emperor/Emperors, which of course fails for the sake of the plot, leading to a lot of the side characters being killed off. And then at the end of the film, we have a 1v1 between our main character and the dude that did him wrong, or the Emperor of Rome. Sound familiar? Yeah, what I just described to you is the exact same plot of Gladiator from 2000 and the exact same plot as Gladiator 2 from 2024. The main plot thread is the exact same thing running through both films. Now, yeah, this film spices it up and adds new things and whatnot to try to make it differentiate itself. But if you look at it, and it's not hard to look at it and see that you're watching basically the exact same film with a new coat of paint on it, why bother? Why? And I am not going to get Gladiator 2 on 4K. I don't plan to rewatch this movie intentionally for the sake of me just watching it and trying to enjoy it. Now, I might rewatch it with people that have never seen it. That way they can be like, oh, I think I've seen this film before. I'm like, duh. Another problem, we never know what's going to happen in this film because people keep changing their motivations of who they want to kill and why. Especially our main character. Like, he goes from wanting revenge on the general, played by Pedro Pascal, which I think was just a wrong choice to begin with. Like, why does he got to be in everything just because he was good as the Mandalorian? I don't understand. But he ends up killing our main character's wife, Lucius, who's grown up from the original film. So Pedro Pascal's general character kills Lucius's wife at the beginning of the opening battle scene. So Lucius wants to kill the general. Then he finds out that the general is actually his stepdad. And because he finds that out, it's because he wanted to overthrow the two evil twin emperors. So now Lucius wants to kill the two Lucius wants to kill the two emperors. And then he finds out that Denzel Washington's character, he's like this rising political figure, and then he wants to kill him because he wants to take the power and control the Roman Empire. And so he ends up trying to kill him. And it's like, it's just different. And the motivations behind it all are just really weird. Okay? The two emperors, they're just total idiots. Okay? And they make me wonder, like I said, I'm not a history buff, but it does make me wonder how in the world they took the throne and how they're still alive. Like, how did we go from having Joaquin Phoenix's character as the emperor to these two morons as the emperors? Like, to me, they just act like cartoon clowns. And they don't even get that much, like I said, development. They have no arc. They have no depth. They're just two idiotic emperors wanting to expand the empire at any cost, even if it makes Roman citizens starve and become angry and riot. The acting is okay. I think Denzel Washington is probably the best part of this film, but he doesn't get that much to do, and what he does get to do kind of felt like a waste. The twists, the turns, the revelations, they're all predictable. You can see them coming a mile away once you can figure out what's going on and why people are doing what they're doing. But, you know, when a character just has this one mind goal, like Denzel Washington's character, you're just like, okay, he's going to get to a certain point, and somebody's going to try to kill him. They kill him. He's dead. Done. The ending lacks conclusion. It really does lack a good resolution. And, like I said, it does leave the door open for a third film. And it kind of ends literally on the same note as the original, but in a more unsatisfying way. And that is the biggest problem with Gladiator 2, is it's not satisfying. And I'm not entertained by this film. I wasn't entertained. I felt like it was a complete, utter waste of my time, my money. And I was expecting something that was going to break away from it being, you know, Gladiator. And I wanted some stuff to be different. I didn't want a carbon copy. And unfortunately, Gladiator 2 is that. It is a 99.9% carbon copy of the original. Now, if that's what you're wanting, that's what you're going to get. But if you're wanting something that makes Gladiator 2 stand out and seem different from the original, you're not going to get that. So, I'm giving it a thumbs down, and I'm giving it a score of 3 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and look forward to more awesome videos coming soon. Bye, guys.